Welcome, students, to this highly important explainer session. I want your absolute focus on the screen right now. Read this exact question with me. Q26. Discuss the need for uniform civil code with reference to Article 44 of the Constitution. Take this down in your notes immediately. Let me be very stern with you right off the bat. This is a guaranteed 10-mark or even 16-mark essay topic for your KSLU exams. It comes up repeatedly, and honestly, it requires a very precise, rigorous academic structure. If you want top marks, you absolutely cannot afford to write a rambling, unstructured answer. You've got to follow the exact blueprint we are about to cover today. All right, let's dive straight into it. Here is the exact synopsis you've got to write at the top of your answer script. 1. Introduction and meaning. 2. Article 44 constitutional provision. 3. Need for uniform civil code. 4. Judicial perspective and cases. 5. Challenges in implementing UCC. And finally, 6. Conclusion and final verdict. This blueprint signals to the examiner right away that you are highly organized and know the law thoroughly. So, heading number 1, Introduction and Meaning. The Constitution of India envisages a Uniform Civil Code, or UCC, under Article 44, which directs the state to secure a uniform set of civil laws for all citizens. It is part of the Directive Principles of State Policy, or DPSPs. Continuing under that same heading, you must provide the exact definition. Uniform Civil Code, a common set of personal laws governing marriage, divorce, succession, and adoption, applicable equally to all citizens irrespective of religion. Now listen closely. I strongly advise you to use bullet points for these exact 4 areas on your exam script. Do not write them in a messy, clumped paragraph. Bullet 1, marriage. Bullet 2, divorce. Bullet 3, succession. Bullet 4, adoption. This visual structure demonstrates absolute, precise legal clarity to the examiner. Moving on to heading number 2, Article 44, Constitutional Provision. I demand your absolute attention here, students. You simply cannot paraphrase the Constitution of India in a law exam. Look at the text. The state shall endeavour to secure for the citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. You must read this with academic reverence, memorize it, and reproduce this exact phrasing word for word on your answer script. Put it in double quotation marks. I highly suggest underlining the words endeavour and throughout the territory of India. Showing the evaluator that you know the exact bare act text will instantly, and I mean literally instantly, elevate your grade. Not enforceable in court, but fundamental in governance. Next, you must dissect the legal nuance of this provision. The crucial point is this. Because Article 44 is a directive principle, it is non-justiciable, meaning a citizen cannot file a writ petition in the Supreme Court demanding its immediate implementation. However, you absolutely must highlight to the evaluator that despite being non-enforceable, it remains a fundamental governance directive. It's a constitutional goal that the state is strictly obligated to strive towards. This specific level of legal maturity is exactly what separates an average student from a university topper. Next up, heading number 3, Need for Uniform Civil Code. Let's read through the core points. National integration promotes unity and equality. Gender justice eliminates discriminatory practices, ensures equal rights for women. Secularism strengthens secular state. Legal uniformity avoids conflicting laws. Modernization aligns with changing values. This is where you actually build the argumentative substance of your essay. But pay very close attention to me right now. Simply listing these 5 points is not enough for 16 marks. No way. I advise you to expand deeply on gender justice and national integration. Explain to the examiner how conflicting personal laws often leave women at a severe disadvantage, and how a UCC actively promotes the constitutional ethos of equality. This specific, detailed elaboration will yield the absolute highest marks from the KSLU evaluator. Heading number 4, Judicial Perspective and Cases. Students, hear me very clearly. This is the most heavily weighted scoring area of your academic essay. A law answer without case laws is like a body without a skeleton. It will simply collapse. Read the screen. Mohammed Ahmed Khan v. Shah Bano Begum, Supreme Court emphasized need for UCC to ensure gender justice, highlighted conflict between personal law and equality. I am mandating you to write this case law in a separate box format on your answer paper. Let me break this down for you so you fully understand. The brief facts. This case involved a divorced Muslim woman seeking maintenance from her former husband. The conflict was directly between her constitutional right to equality and maintenance versus the strict dictates of personal law. The ratio decidendi, which is the final verdict of the court, strongly emphasized that a uniform civil code is urgently needed to ensure true gender justice and protect the vulnerable sections of society. The absolute relevance of this case to Article 44 is that the Supreme Court itself lamented the state's failure to enact a UCC, pointing out that piecemeal personal laws actively conflict with fundamental rights. Write out this exact analysis to secure those massive marks. Next, we have another landmark judgment, Sarla Mudgo v. Union of India. Court urged government to implement UCC, noted misuse of personal laws. Underline this case name twice to immediately capture the KSLU evaluator's attention for that 10-mark or 16-mark answer. Let's expand on this one. The facts of the case revolved around a Hindu husband converting to Islam solely for the purpose of contracting a second marriage, thereby attempting to bypass the anti-bigamy provisions of Hindu law. The court's verdict came down incredibly heavily on this practice, specifically noting the blatant misuse of personal laws for fraudulent purposes. The relevance here is absolutely profound. The Supreme Court in Sarla Mudgol explicitly urged the government to look at Article 44 and implement a UCC to stop citizens from exploiting religious conversions merely to escape their legal obligations. This case perfectly proves the legal uniformity and secularism points we discussed a moment ago. Heading number 5. Challenges in implementing UCC. Let's look at the text. Religious diversity. Fear of loss of cultural identity. Political sensitivity. Lack of consensus. Having established the strong judicial backing, you must now seamlessly move to the challenges. A well-rounded and balanced 16-mark academic essay must always explore the counter perspective. As a law student, you must list these exact challenges neutrally. Do not take political sides on your exam paper. That is highly unprofessional and will cost you marks. Simply explain that India's vast religious diversity creates genuine apprehension among minority communities about the fear of loss of cultural identity. Acknowledge that personal laws are deeply intertwined with religious faith, making any uniform legislation an issue of extreme political sensitivity. Therefore, the lack of broad social consensus remains a very practical barrier for the legislature. Exhibiting this kind of neutral, objective legal maturity shows the examiner that you truly understand the sociopolitical realities of drafting laws. And finally, heading number 6, conclusion and final verdict. I am going to instruct you on exactly how to wrap up your essay powerfully to leave a lasting, highly authoritative impression on the evaluator. The uniform civil code is essential for achieving equality, justice, and national unity. While challenges exist, gradual and inclusive reforms can help realize the vision of Article 44. Using this neat, structured, and perfectly balanced approach guarantees maximum marks. You summarize the need, you acknowledge the challenge, and you offer a pragmatic way forward, gradual reform. Follow this strict outline, cite the exact bare act, box your case laws, and your KSLU evaluator will reward you generously. But before we end this session, let me leave you with a somewhat provocative thought as future lawyers. If the Supreme Court has been demanding this ever since the Shabano judgment, just how much longer must society wait for these gradual reforms to finally become a reality under Article 44? I want you to think critically on that. Class dismissed.